We're down here today in Cherokee doing a little bit of rod testing and more of a rod review than anything, but we're going to be reviewing Master Nymph Bellator today. I've had this rod about 2 years now. Figured it's time for a solid review, and well, we're going to be playing a little bit with a 6X micro leader. In this high water, water's still pretty high, so I'm going to be running a girdle bug and a small French fly most of the day and see how it goes. Stay tuned. Just picked up the first fish of the day out of this nice little pocket right here. Buddy's got a nice little yellow cheek on him, but Buddy picked up the stonefly here in this faster water. Nice little wild rainbow. Just found a second one in a different little slot. Could be a holdover, could be a wild. This one's a holdover. The dorsal's a little beat up, and the tail's a little beat up, and the colors are a little muted, but it's a nice fish nonetheless. In this high water, rod still has plenty of power even on 6.5 in this high water to turn them around and get them in the net. But it's not easy wading, and it's not fun wading at that. But Buddy came out of the little hole here in front of me, and yeah, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible day. No. That last rainbow came out from right in front of this tree or just under it. I was standing out there in a little bit shallow water, and I had to cross this to land him, but not too bad. Water's a little on the cold side from all the snow melt and rain, but the fish are eating a little on the soft side too. Just made the switch to a girdle bug, and Buddy was sitting right in front of that laurel. I'm going to try to pull one up out of this head up here. I initially tried it with an egg, but I don't know if it was just too heavy or what. I went to a smaller bead size, a little bit more natural presentation. I think these fish are just junked out. Found another nice wild rainbow right here on the bank. Go on, hook Buddy real quick. Let him go to grow. Let him get bigger, let him make more. That's all it's all about, man. But yeah, it's just, they're banked out still. I'm going to try to get over there on that other bank, but I'll see what I can do. All right, I figured now is as good a time as any. I just come on this little side channel on this island where it's nice and secluded to talk about this rod like I talked about doing. So this is a Bellator. I picked it up in September of 2019. It's now February 2022. So I've had this rod quite some time. And at the time it came out, it was a stellar rod when this came out. There was nothing like it. But today there's just mildly better rods. I mean, we still have one rocket, but I have this, I have the ultralight, I have the contact 2, and those are two rods that I think outshine this rod. They have faster recovery times. They don't, I'm fishing a 6X micro leader. Look how thin that is. You can barely see it on my finger. I'm fishing a 6X micro leader. My contact 2, I don't know, it's the first time I fished it. Any rod with a 6X micro leader, but I'm noticing where this thing has a little more reverberation when you flip and cast, that it's tending to ball up on the tip. And that's one thing the Hardy would deal with very well with having two snake guides on the tip. Because when it slid across the tip on the cast, the line would just go and grab the blank like that. But the rod is a fantastic rod. It's sensitive. It's American made. But you pay the price for an American-made rod. These are $950 rods or something like that. With everything going on right now in the whole world when it comes to cork, I'm going to forgive the fact that this cork is, in all senses of the word, awful. I have put wood filler in it in spots where it goes all the way to the raw carbon blank. It's full of pitting. And after 2 years, it really, you can tell I have fished it hard for 2 years. It's a good rod. It really is. But I don't recommend it. I recommend getting the Contact 2 or the Hardy Ultralight over this. This rod, it's a 10-foot tube. Everyone's like, 10-2's too soft, it kills fish. No, they don't. Fight the fish right. Fight the fish right. You fight with the butt section. You put your rod in a lower seat, and that's what I love about this rod is you hook a big fish, you still have control. You have more control over a big fish because this butt section is beefy. Like the Contact 2, I have landed several big fish on. The Hardy Ultralight, I have landed several big fish on. I've landed more big fish with this rod than those 2 rods combined. But I've also had this rod almost 3 times the length that I've had those other 2 rods. And this rod I probably have, I don't know, 50 fish, 60 fish, over 20 on this rod. I have 6 and 7 pound trout landed on this rod. This rod is a strong rod for a 2-way. It's one of the best in terms of fighting fish. But at the end of the day, I can't recommend this rod. It's Billmaster that puts out a website. I'm not going to recommend this rod. Is it a good rod? Yes. It uses good quality equipment. You know, it's got a Fuji reel seat. No, it's got an Alps reel seat. You know, beautiful Alps reel seat. Lovely. Now, unfortunately, no rubberized cork. I understand it's for weight reduction, but this rod's 94 grams. My Contact 2 is lighter by 10 grams, and I run the same lengths and speeds through on my Contact 2. So, it's a well-balanced rod, but it's still, you know, it's 10 grams heavier than it needs to be. Later on, we'll be doing some reel reviews and some line reviews. I'm going to talk about the Highland Rod Company Elasticord maybe later on this week. I will have a video up on my Contact 2 and on the water review. I mean, I'm doing an on the water review today because I'm fishing. But, like I said, good American-made rod, but Contact 2 is $8.25 and fishes better. It has a similar tip, but no rebound. So this thing, it has some rebound comparatively to the Contact 2. I don't know how well frame it is, but you just see how the rod just absolutely bounces to the end of the cast. Contact 2, it does not bounce this bad. It pretty much stops when you cast. It makes these real thin micro leaders a pleasure to fish. But I'm gonna get back to fishing. I'm gonna have some on the water talk about this rod. After I catch some fish, I'm gonna talk about what I've noticed. But I have noticed every one of my hits except for one today, and I thought I snagged. And it's just because it was just super slow water, and the fish just kind of sucked it in. That's just the problem with high water and February. You're gonna just get those real soft eggs. So I've moved 3 or 4 miles upriver to something a little more probably fish friendly in this. It's gonna be, you know, not as fast, it's more pockety, but it's just a lot smoother and a lot easier for me to wade through right now in this high water. I'm gonna show you how the river looks, and we're gonna see if we can't find some fish in it. I know generally this holds some fish pretty well. So here we have the river, you know, it's pretty good stuff, you know, there should be some by that rock, but normally in normal flow, they're right here under this tree. Let's see what's going on here. 3 rigs from 8 to 6.5 trout hunter. The 8X is just a little too thin, a little too light, and I paid the price. You know, I lost a decent little wilder holdover. I really couldn't tell. Everything's super silvery today, unfortunately. So the little wild fish and the big stalkers, everything's just super silvered up. So it's just kind of like, I didn't get a good look at the fin. So he was right here though, right beside me. When I hooked him, I was on the other side of the river, and I tried to get over to him quick enough to net him. Just picked up a real silvery high holdover right here out of this tail out. I was initially right there, come across, lost one behind the rock when I was on 8, switched 6.5, come over here to fish this while that rests. And we'll go back to that here in a minute. But I feel like there may be 1 or 2. But this is a little bit better water. The fish are here more and they're eating more, but it's still a very soft eat today. So I was right. There was a nice little wild fish. He's tucked up in this faster water. He didn't take the squirmy. He took a little quill bug that looks like a blue wing olive. It's got a silver bead and some black dubbing on it. I have a feeling there may be 1 or 2 more in there. I'm gonna see. Hopefully there are. But it's finally starting to kick off now that I got in some water that I can actually wade and actually fish on today.